G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sailing Quick Creations. It's crazy to think that we've actually been doing this for 50 episodes and at the end of our first year. So this week we're just going to put together a bit of a compilation of all the major tasks we've done throughout the year and just summarise it all up. And we're going to throw a bit of a competition together, and if you want to win, just stay tuned and we'll give more details on that a bit later. So yeah, let's go and have a look at the last year on YouTube. As you can see, going back to the first two episodes, we had very bad video footage. At this point, we hadn't even committed to putting anything out there on YouTube and hadn't shot the footage with the thoughts of people even seeing it. We hired a slurry blaster to remove all the incorrectly applied coating, fairing, and to establish the correct profile on the steel. Straight after blasting, we high pressure water washed the boat to remove any corrosion, bloom, and painted the boat in undercoat. We decided to buy a ship container to make into a workshop. We have since added a shaded area, an outdoor table and chair so we can sit and relax. It was a badly corroded container and required a full paint job. I even put a second roof on to keep the heat out. Now that we had a freshly blasted boat and a new workshop, I was able to get stuck into working on the boat. Firstly, I started with removing the steering column that seemed to be put in the most inconvenient place. Continuing in the cockpit, I cut out a lot of rust found in areas where the water couldn't drain away. Just behind the cockpit there were some dissimilar metals in the deck that were next to be cut out. Moving forward, I removed one of the hatches. This is a common flaw in boats designed around the 80s, where the chain passes over the forward hatch, which makes that hatch unusable. So we fixed this up for more of a safety issue. I then started welding in replacement panels in the cockpit, aft deck, and where I had removed the forward hatch. I then took a break from welding and moved inside to lay down a floor so that we can get a bit of a sense of how the layout would work inside the boat. Not really liking the current windows, which gave the boat the look of a run-down Navy patrol boat, we made up some templates on how it would look with some rectangular windows. Getting into some more inboard stuff, I removed all the internal fixings like timbers and electrical wiring, etc., which was a good example on how the previous owner or builder didn't follow proven methods. After spending some time going through layout options and how we might be able to make the best work of the interior, we decided to lower the floor to make full use of the beam of the boat. Even after lowering the floor, we still have more underfloor storage than most boats our size. Now that the old floor was out, I relaid the temporary floor at the new level and constructed some furniture to give a feel on how the layout might work. Back outside, I cut out all the old square boxed out hatches which would have required custom made steel hatches. In situ, I made some combings that house a standard 507mm hatch. Now cutting out the shore power connection, which was conveniently placed in the wrong spot with poor welding. The more I looked, the more shady work I found. Checking the bottom of the bow, I found some very bad corrosion. Finding that led me to want to ultrasonic thickness test the entire hull, paying particular attention to areas I couldn't inspect from the inside. Post ultrasonic thickness testing, I proceeded to cut out all areas that the UT found to be thin, which also just happened to be located in the bow. The material there got down to as low as 1.6 millimeters thick from a 6 millimeter nominal size. After a blast and paint, I was finally happy. The bow was problem free. We then welded in the top two panels and fitted the hatches that will access the high pressure water hose for washing down the anchor. I then started the job that would just never end, the windows. This was the job that just kept giving, but in the end it was well worth the effort with the modern window look. At some points we did have to take a break, so we got out the kayaks and had some fun trying to spot the local dolphins. One thing on the boat I just really didn't like the look of was the butterfly hatch. So out with it and in with the custom sunroof hatch. We needed to level the boat and hired a crane company to lift it up and put some beams under to level it up. However, this didn't go to plan and the crane company didn't bring the correct slings, so couldn't lift our boat. Instead of getting them to come back with the correct slings, I just did it manually with some 30-ton jacks. Next, I started to cut out the big windows in the main saloon, which let so much more light in and made it feel so much more lively. The next big job was to remove the hard dodger. This was so heavy to shift once cut off. Back at our home workshop, we started to make up some temporary windows to fit, to stop the water getting into the boat. More raining days meant for more cleaning and prep inside. Checking out the Companionway, I decided it would actually be less work just to rebuild the whole thing rather than fixing it up. After a lot of back and forth with engineers, finally I was happy with the design for the rudder bearing. So we made it and installed it straight away. Now that the Companionway was done, I started mocking up angles and heights for the new hard dodger before I started to build the new one. We were going for a much more modern look. With more rain coming, I had to jump back inside to do more work on cleaning up the main saloon and prepping the window coamings. The bilge uncovered pitch, which I thought to be an odd choice for a steel boat. More recently, I added some trimming around the companionway, which is a nice touch to see some things getting closer to completion. To get the boat lockable, I started making a companionway frame to hold the slide, which is going to be an internal cavity slide. We did some tests to work out a good way to weld studs on. And I finally made up a fiberglass companionway slide back in the home workshop. So that brings us up to date to now, and that doesn't include every job, but that's most of the main ones. So we have our competition going, and what we've got is a whole bunch of merchandise made up. The wife made them all. This is a bit of a tumbler or a thermos, and it heats or cools your drink or keeps them hot or cold. We've got a bit of a hat. It's got the name on the back and the logo on the front. We've got a bit of a stubby cooler. I've got mine here with my little Coke. So that comes with it. It's got a little diary going on. A little bag to keep them in, and we've got a t-shirt, exactly the same as the one I wear on the show. So we're packaging them all up, and we're going to be sending them out to the winner of a competition, and all you have to do to win is like, subscribe and leave a comment to let us know what your favourite part of the series has been. And just for fun, I just wanted to see if everyone could comment on how long they think this project's going to take. So I think it's going to take another 2 to 3 years. The wife seems to think it's going to take another 5 to 6 years. But interesting to see how you guys think with the progress we've already got and how much we've got to go. So just let us know how long you think it's going to take, and it'd be interesting to see in the end who was the closest. It'd just be a bit of fun. So that brings us to the end of this year. I hope everyone has a safe and happy new year, because this will be the last episode for the year. It's New Year's Eve today, and then really hope that everyone has a safe one and we will get everyone back next year. So that brings us to the end of this series for the year, and we'll see you all in the new year. Thanks, guys.